Hello all, good morning, good evening, based on wherever you are. And today we'll be talking about how you do a data upgrade from NAV 2016 to Business Central 14. This has been a pretty old request. Sorry for the delay. There are so many people who have asked for this. And today, I guess, somebody sent me an example that this is something that everybody will be happy with. So we'll give that a try. There will be a part 2 of this, from where we'll move from Business Central 14, which is a customized Business Central 14, to Business Central 23. That might come a little bit late because I'm traveling starting tomorrow, but let's not waste time and get into it. So before we get into it, again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel, because that helps us to have a wider reach of all these videos so that the more people can get benefit out of it. And that also tells us about your liking towards the content that is published on this channel. Okay, so let's get started. So from a mail today, and also on the YouTube video, I got a comment, just create some demo data. So for that, what we have done here, this is NAV 2016 North American version. And here on my customer table, I have added a field at 50,000 called demo field, and the same field is also available on the vendor table. And then we have also added a demo table which have some fields. Now to support this, right now it's empty. So if you go to the customer list, hopefully that field should be there. The demo field is empty, and same on the vendor. So what we have done is we have created this code unit, report, which will populate some random data into all these tables and all these fields. So let's quickly run this, and then we'll review the data before we start the upgrade process. Okay, I should have made it processing only, but that's okay. At this point, each company should have the data into these field, which is equivalent to the number field. A pretty simple logic, right? And let's check into the other company. So if I go Cronus USA, and this time search for vendors. Okay, I should be able to see that there is some data. And let's also check on the new table. It should have all the data that we needed. Okay, it's just a copy of GL entry table. Some fields, not all. So now we have this customized database in NAV 2016. The first thing that we have to do before we start the migration process is to make sure that at least tables are merged into a BC14 environment, which is our target version. So what we'll do, we'll take a Cronus of BC14, which I have already there. So let me open the development environment. Once that gets opened, not this one, and we'll just make sure that the same tables, as there is one new table. So what I'll do is I'll open my BC14 CU10. In this case, you can take any CU, it's up to you. For the new objects, I can just export and import. So let me export, and let's say new object in type of FOB. Okay, and then here I can import it. So the two new objects, which is table and page, will be created into my Business Central 14 environment, and I'll do a sync as later. Okay, and then let's head up to these table, which is 18 and 23. The pages are 22 and 27. You technically not need pages for the migration, but let's just add it because it's a quick small change. Okay, let's get added here. Oh, my license. So doing any development, you need to have the license uploaded as a partner license. Okay, so let's do it here. Okay, and 18. Okay, so I have the fields available. Let me go to the page, which is my page number 22. I'll just copy this. So at least, as I said, you need to have the table fields available so that the data can be retained during the migration. I'm just doing it so that after the migration is over, we'll be able to see the data is there or not. Okay, I know this is not the real scenario, but in a scenario, and let me do this first while this is happening, we'll keep on talking about it. So I have the two tables and one new table, and two pages and one new page is available. At this point, what I can do is I can select all objects. Whenever you are selecting all objects, mark them. So first go to all, click here, either use from edit, which is toggle mark, or you can use the shortcut control F1. When you do toggle mark, you see this icon pop in. Now, based on your license, you might not have permission to export some objects. For that, just to make sure, you can do a lock. When you do a lock, based on your license, the only objects that you have permission for, you can lock. So if there are ISVs and third-party solutions which do not allow you to export their objects, you'll not be able to export them. So you need to have a partner license which have the permissions. Then the other thing that we need to remember is that we need to skip all these system tables because they are platform dependent. So what I'll do is I'll apply a filter of greater than equal to 2 million. And there are not just table, because this is BC14. That's where Microsoft also introduced some code units into it. So I'll select all these. Again, go to edit and do the toggle mark. Show all, and then I can go to view menu and say marked only. At this point, I have marked all the objects which are not system or platform objects less than 2 million, and I'm going to select all these and do a export of it and call them as BC14 merged objects as FOB. Let's save this. Okay, so what I was saying, this is a demo example, but in a real world you'll have more and more customized object, customized tables and pages. There are some pre-built PowerShell command in Dynamics NAV or Business Central 14 version which you can use to generate the delta and also merge objects out of it. Now it does not do 100% for you, but at least it'll do a certain percentage for you so that you don't have to merge everything manually. So at this point, I have a BC14 object set ready. I'll close this database because we don't need it. And now I'll come back and we'll talk about migrating the data going forward. For that, let's go into this page called Upgrade to Business Central, which is upgrading to Business Central. You see there are different options to 2023 release wave 2, 1, 2 and 1. If you are into earlier version, which we are, let's go in and you will see that how you upgrade to Business Central Spring 2019. This is our Business Central 14. On this, you can read about other topics, but what we are focusing is on application and data upgrade. Okay, this talks around the PowerShell script which I was saying, but here let's see, this is only about that. But if you have to upgrade the data, you can then choose upgrading the data. We are doing single tenant. If you have multi-tenant, then you will choose this article. and then upgrading the data to single tenant mode. Now you can read completely about this, but I'll go a little bit faster because it's more or less something that I do day in and day out, so not a big deal. But in summary, it'll tell you to take a backup of your database. You need to make sure that if you have extensions, they are converted, but I don't have it on NAV 2016 at this moment. Then you need to have the upgraded application code, which we just extracted, a FOB file that contain your target version merged objects, which in our case is Business Central 14. You have an upgrade toolkit FOB that is available in the DVD. We'll see that. The upgrade toolkit include upgrade toolkit for handling data upgrade. The upgrade toolkit is the same FOB in the application code or a separate FOB file. For W1 version, which is the worldwide version, and this is important to read, you can find the default upgrade toolkit objects in the upgrade toolkit data conversion tool folder. But if you are not doing it for W1, then there is a different folder called local folder, and we'll come to that. How you can upgrade to Business Central 14? You need to find this file for 2015. We are doing 2016, so we'll look for this file. And here it is. So we are not doing W1, we are doing North America. So for local version, you will find the upgrade toolkit in a folder called local objects. The file follows the same nomenclature, except there will be a 2-letter word specifying the localization. So without wasting further time, let's get into it. So here we are, and this is my BC14CU10, and let me make it big. Inside this, there will be a folder called upgrade toolkit. Inside that, as it says, there are 2 folders. One is called data conversion tool, which is used for worldwide version, and then the local objects, which are used for the localized region that you are upgrading it for. So if you are upgrading for India, the local folder will contain upgrade toolkit files for India. I'm doing it for North America. So when I open this, I'll see that there is upgrade toolkit for each version from where you can upgrade to Business Central 14. We need this because we are using 2016 to Business Central 14 US, and then based on your version, you can choose whatever you need. Okay, now it says you have exported the permission set, because between in BC14 and BC13, Microsoft did tweak a permission set in a different way, but in my case, in this moment, it's a Kronos database, so I don't have to do it. If you're using data encryption, you will have to disable the data integration. So let's quickly check, am I using data encryption? So data encryption is used to kind of encrypt your files and all, and there is a built-in page for it. I guess if I choose for encryption, yes. So if you have encryption enabled here, in that case, you need to disable the integration. You can export the key and then disable the integration, because otherwise you will have an error message during data upgrade. So open this page and make sure that it is disabled in all the companies. Okay, then you need to make a copy. We are not going to do that. You need to install your Business Central, which I already have done for Business Central 14. Now there are 2 sets of tasks. One, we do it into the older version, and one, we do it into the newer version. So the task 1 is create a full SQL backup of the old database, which I already have. Then uninstall all extension. Now I know I don't have it, but you might have it. So for your sake, what I'll do is I'll open my PowerShell as administrator. PowerShell ISE, this is called PowerShell ISE. And here first I need to import the module so that it understands what I'm running. Okay. C program files, Microsoft Dynamics NAV 90 service and .ps1. Maybe this is pretty much zoomed. So let me zoom this out so that you can take notes of it. Okay. This command will import all Business Central commandlet into this panel. Till this point, it does not understand the Business Central command, but once we run this, it'll now load all these commands into it. The first command it says us to run is to get the list of all extensions that you have, and you can just do it by this. So let's quickly check. It says server instance, which in my case is Dynamics NAV 90. Okay. So if I run this, I found nothing. And then for each extension, if you find it, you'll have to uninstall the NAV app. But if you want to do it together, then there is one single line of command which, using the piped parameter, gets all the app and then also uninstall all the apps one by one. So you can just use this command, and if you have any extensions installed, they will be uninstalled. At this point, upload the Business Central partner license into the old database. So you'll need to have a partner license to do an upgrade from NAV 2016 to Business Central 14, which I have already uploaded. Now it says delete all objects except table into the old database. So at this point, open your database, again do the same thing, select all, toggle mark, then go to tables, select all and toggle mark. Then if I go to view marked only, what I'll see that all my objects are selected other than tables. So I'll select everything and I'll delete all the objects, because for migration you don't need pages, reports, code units, or all your data is into the tables. So that's why you only delete all objects other than tables. Then it says go to SQL Server and clear your server instance and debugger instance, because this might stop the process during execution. And here's the command which you can just copy, go to SQL Server, select your database and then paste it. Now this is my database name, so I can just copy this, paste it here and paste it here. This will remove all the connected session and the debugger session if there are any. Once done, let's close this. Now it says convert the old database to Business Central. Before this, it doesn't specify it, but you should stop the service. At this point, service is stopped. So now I should be able to convert my database to Business Central 14. To do that, close the database from here, database close, and then open Business Central 14 as administrator. Okay, and then open your database that you have and click OK. As soon as you click OK, it'll warn you that if you do this step, if you click OK, you'll not be able to access this database with an exe prior to BC14. So make sure that you have a backup at this point, so that if something goes wrong, you can go back to the earlier stage. But once you click OK, it'll technically convert your database to Business Central 14 executables. So let's click OK and OK. It'll start transforming or updating objects from your NAV 2016 schema set or the platform voice to Business Central 14, and because tables are part of it, the tables will kind of get updated at this moment. And that's the other reason why Microsoft suggests you to delete other objects, otherwise this step will be a little bit longer. There's other reason behind it, which is that if there are some leftover pages or code units which are not available into the future version, they will not be available in the future version, let's say, so they gets removed. So just follow as Microsoft is saying and you'll be good there. So it says the database is converted. You now should run the sync tenant to synchronize. We'll come to that in a while. The conversion is completed and my database is technically converted to BC14 at this moment. Okay, you can read all this. Then it says import the upgraded application object to converted database. At this point, the objects that we prepared earlier from Business Central 14, where we did the merge of these customizations, you need to import that. And if you read it through, it'll say, while prompted for synchronization, choose sync to later. Okay, so let's go in and do a BC14 merged import, which contains all the objects, not just table, but it does not contain system objects because they are already available and compiled here. So at this point, I can just do a replace all. Okay, and I can do a okay. So anything that was already available into the system, which was modified, will be marked at this yellow warning that there has been this object already available. And here something has been changed by Microsoft, it seems. Okay, so I've done replace all. Now I'll click OK, and as the article suggests, I'll do a sync schema as later, because right now there is no service map to this database, so it is kind of disconnected from SQL at this moment. Okay, let's keep doing that. Then it says when you import FOV, import worksheet and replace all, and OK, which we have done. And it also says that once you have imported the application object, then import the upgrade toolkit FOV, which is available in your product DVD. Okay, let's see, it's still importing. Now at this point, what's happening, my BC14 standard Microsoft object, which already have my customization as it was in NAV 2016, are getting imported. And because this is all new objects from BC14, they contain all other objects like pages, reports, code unit, queries, XML port, and so on and so forth. Now using all these objects, it kind of build the schema, but because the table design would have changed between 2016 and Business Central 14, to kind of accept that kind of change, we'll need to import the upgrade toolkit, which we are going to do once this import is completed. So it's pretty near and it should be over any moment now. Let's give it a minute. Okay, yes, so that's done. I'm just going to cancel the object search for a while. Now I'm going to import. This time I'm going to this path, and because I'm on 2016, I'll choose this and then click open. Say no, everything is created. Now these are the objects which are created by Microsoft to accommodate the change that has been happened between 2016 and Business Central 14 in terms of data. So all the tables that you see here have some changes between the two versions, and then there is some code unit to move that data between the tables. So let's click OK, and the sync schema is later in the same way. Okay, that's also done. Now it says connect to Business Central server instance to the converted database. So now let's go in and let's copy the name of the database and plug it into a Business Central 14 service. So let me open the Business Central 14 administration. Yes. In this, I'll just go into my service, edit this, and in the database section, I'll change it to the database that I'm upgrading from. Okay. So my database name set is as 2016 NA, and let's save this. And to apply this change, I'll restart the service. While it is restarting, let's understand what it is doing. It suggests you that if you're not sure about it, how to do it, you can also run the PowerShell command to set the NAV server commandlet. And you need to make sure that the user who is running the service have the DB owner permission on SQL Server to that database. So it seems it's restarted and it's running. Now it says compile all objects in the converted database. So all the objects which are not compiled, compile them. And while compiling, choose the run schema synchronization still as later. Don't do it now. Okay. So make sure that is set to later, and then we'll see what happens. So let's go back into the database. There is a service map now. Let's select all the objects and do a compile. And choose later. So it'll take a while. In the meantime, let's keep reading this. Now here, because there are version changes and functionality kind of gets deprecated or replaced with a new version functionality, here it says that if you are upgrading from NAV 2016 and earlier, so if you are upgrading from NAV 2015, 2013, 2013, I guess 2015 is the last version, earliest version that you can upgrade from. So if you are coming from 2015 or 2016, then this step is applicable, that you may get and you should get errors on following objects. And if you do get them, then what you need to do is here, when you delete a table object in the delete, choose option to force only for these tables, not for any other table. In this setup, it is very important to do a sync for all table on the tools menu. So it says what we are doing here is we are compiling all the objects, and at that point there should be compilation error at least on these table. And if that happens, the next action would become to delete these with schema as force. So let's see where it is. Still compiling. I'll do a pause, but if you have any questions, if I'm going a little bit fast, just let me know into the comment section while this is happening. Okay, so let's wait. I'll pause the video for a while and we'll resume it. Okay, so the compiling is done and it's now building the search indexes. That also seems to be completed. Let's go in and let's wait for it. It still says not responding. So let me come back here. Oh yeah, still compiling the objects, which is a little bit weird. It should have been done. Oh, the pages were left, it seems, and the pages normally happens a little bit faster. So this step may take a little bit of time. There are other longer steps into the process, so don't worry. But this is just making sure that all your objects which you have imported from the database where you merged in are compatible to the version Business Central 14. And if there are compilation issues, it'll generate a list of those objects as uncompiled. Okay, so let's see how it goes. So there are certain things to remember. If you are a customer, you'll not be able to do it by yourself. You'll need a partner assistance because a partner license is required to do the upgrade in Dynamics NAV. And for merge, do let me know into the comment section. I'm not guaranteeing sooner, but we'll surely do otherwise a NAV, how you actually merge objects into it, and what is that process to use the merge commandlet or the compare commandlet that are available in NAV. Now This should be over at any moment, but let me pause it so that your time is not wasted. Okay, so that's over. Let's open, and as expected, we are seeing a little bit more, but those objects are here which are generating error. There are other errors, but they are because of some .NET references and all, and some tables being obsolete. But our focus is on these tables. So let's go back and let's again do a marked only, because the tables which are not compiled will be marked by default. Oh, sorry. View marked only. So you'll notice that these tables are not compiled, and as the article said, we'll just follow it as it is. We'll have to delete these tables with the schema as force. Okay, so let's do that, and let's choose force for these tables. Okay, that should delete the tables. Okay, done. Let's move ahead. Now it says if you are upgrading from NAV 2016 and earlier, and if you have test runner code units, you will get errors on these code unit that on before test run and on after test run signature are not valid. You can read about it how you fix that. That's not related to data migration at this moment. Now it says task 10, if you are upgrading from 2018 or Business Central 13, which is the fall version, then you need to increase the application version, which is not applicable in our case right now. So we'll skip that. Now it says run the schema synchronization on converter database. That you do by doing this command on your PowerShell. So let's just copy this, come back here and change the server instance name, the actual name. Let's run this, and it is saying that service is not running, which is my bad, because now it is not Dynamics NAV 90, it is BC 140. Okay, and to have that, I'll also have to close this and change this command. Let me close this, open my PowerShell as administrator again, and this time I'll have to do the import module of C program files Microsoft Dynamics 365 140.ps1. Run that. Okay, now let's bring that command of sync, paste it here, replace it with your server instance. Sorry. Now let's run this. It'll ask for confirmation, and as you do that, now it's trying to check that the new object set that you brought, which contain the customizations also, due to that, is there any data being deleted? If yes, it will result with an error message. If everything is at place and there are no loss of data, then it'll complete by itself. So let's wait for it. Just remember, on a bigger database with a lot of data on your database, this particular step can be a little bit longer, and if it runs out of kind of memory and it gives you an error, then make sure to come to this service tier and increase the, where is that, the SQL timeout, SQL connection timeout to, let's say, 11 hours, and same for command timeout, and that way it will not break in the middle. Now at this moment it is reviewing each and every table, and you can also check on SQL Server, but this is running fast now, that what's happening, but it is making sure that the new objects that you have imported are not making any destructive changes into your system. If there are any destructive changes, it will result into an error message on the sync. But if everything goes well, you will see a confirmation of how long it took to run this command once this is over. On longer databases, you will also notice that you see an active expensive query here when it is being running. Okay, It seems sync is over and there's no errors at this moment. Now when it is completed, if you run this command, you will say it'll show you that the operational data upgrade is pending, and I know it, but let's run this so that we understand what's happening. So at this point, when I change this to 140 and run it, it'll give me detail where it says that my data upgrade is pending. The state is the data upgrade is pending at this moment. Okay, now it says run the data upgrade. Now you can either run it from the development environment or from the PowerShell. It's up to you. You can either run this PowerShell command if you want, or you can go to your development environment and from tools menu you can go to the data upgrade and say start. It'll ask you for a confirmation, and then there are two modes, parallel and serial. In the parallel mode, the upgrade command runs for all the companies parallelly. In serial, it runs one by one. So I'll do parallel, and I would like to see the progress. I don't want it to continue on error. If your sync is longer, the step that we ran here, make sure before running the upgrade, you have a backup available of your database. Now let's run the parallel execution. You will see a progress bar popping up here, which will tell you what's happening at this moment or how much it is done. Because it is running in parallel, it is running for multiple companies at the same time. 97% done. And here you can see some queries that are being executed behind the scene as your upgrade is performing. And there are some errors. And now when there are errors, you can check it by using this PowerShell command. So let's see what are the errors. It says to get the error, use get nav data upgrade. And then it says your server instance PC 140 and errors only. With this, it'll show you what are the errors. So let's see here. It says the function on run in the company initialization in the context of Cronus Canada has failed because of the following error. The record in the table upgrade tag already exists. MS28176 Excel template web services. Okay, so there is already an Excel template which is available in the database, and that's why we are seeing this error message. Because if you look at it on code unit 2, there will be a function which is trying to update the Excel template web service, which seems to be already available in this version of the database that I took. Okay, and why this happens is because, let me stop it, because I don't want, while I'm running my data upgrade, to okay, let me stop the data upgrade and explain you what's happening. Okay, so what happens when you run the data upgrade is there is no boolean here where you can skip the company initialization, because your companies are already pre-initialized, right? So what you need to do is, let's pick this command from here, come to your PowerShell, paste it here, set the right properties, and then you have other properties available, which is skip company initialization. So if you add this check, it'll skip the company initialization process and will execute the whole upgrade, but will not try to initialize your company where we got this error message. I normally haven't seen it. This might be something that is part of the new versions maybe. Let's try to run this. Let's see what happens. But when you run it from PowerShell, it kind of seems complete, but it is not. For that, you have this friend available called getNet data upgrade, not error only, but you can do other things, which is progress, and then at an interval of 15 seconds, milliseconds I guess, I would like to update the progress bar. So if I run this, and if it is running, it'll show me. If you are not sure that it is completed or not, there are other options also, which is called detailed. So when you do detailed, it'll show you each step one by one, which can be time consuming to read. So there is a hack for it. So what you can do is use the pipe command and do a grid view. Now what will happen with this? This command will run and it'll try to output this command result into a grid. So when you click on it, it'll open all the step that has been executed and will also show you the state of it. So if you look at it, everything is completed right now. The only problem that we had was because the upgrade process was trying to initialize the company, which has been already initialized. So you can skip it from PowerShell. Here it is. In the last phase of data upgrade, all company will be initialized by running code unit 2. This is done automatically. If you want to skip, then use with skip company initialization parameter. Okay, so that's done. Java control add-in, in my case, it's also up to date. If you're not sure, then you can open this page and run this, new imported. And then this is about publish and generate symbols for extension. Now we are not doing AL development into Business Central 14. This becomes important if you are planning to do development in AL in Business Central 14, then your task 14 is important. But because our Business Central 14 is just an intermediate step, this is not our final version. Our final version is Business Central 23. So we are going to skip this step and move forward. Then it says upgrade or repair extension. In my case, I did not had any extension, so I don't have to follow this step. But if you have extension, you can just follow these steps also. And then there are extensions available if you want to install, which I don't, because again, this is not my final version. So I'll do it at my final version. Okay. If you have exported the permission set earlier, now it's time to import them back. If you have removed the data encryption key, it's time to import that data encryption key back into your Business Central 14 environment. And that's it. You can update the config file for web service if you have users connecting to this, which I don't, because I don't need it. And the last, it says optional but very important, delete the upgrade objects. So if you remember, we imported the upgrade toolkit, and that brought some objects into the system and they are not yet deleted. So we need to delete them, and they fall into a specific range. Let's see. There will be a temp table, not this one, or not temp, I guess it's UPG. Okay. Let's keep finding next here. So if you look at it, all these objects with this version, UPGTK 14.11, are all the objects which are part of the upgrade toolkit. So as the last step here, it says you need to delete all the upgrade objects which are part of the upgrade toolkit, so that you don't keep them forward and they cause problems to you in your next upgrade. So I'll select that, delete all of them, and I can just force them so that any data that is retained during the upgrade process is also removed from them. At this point, because I have deleted something, I'll just quickly run a sync here. And as the syncs get completed, my upgrade from NAV 2016 to Business Central 14 is over. And to verify that, we'll just run this page. This time it should point to my Business Central 14 executables and will run it there. So let's wait for it. Okay, this is my business central 14 and my data is intact. Let's go back to my customer page, because I have also merged the page object. I should see that I have the demo field intact as it is with the data. So this was pretty simple, I think. If you have any questions, confusion, let me know into the comment section. I'm traveling this week, so I might not be able to come up with the part 2 sooner, but I'll surely come up with the part 2 where we'll move this database from Business Central 14 customized to Business Central 23. If you are looking for that, add that into the comment. More comments on the video will tell me how quickly I need to kind of complete that video. Till then, have a great day, and I'll see you sooner than later on the next video. You know the drill. If you like the content, hit the like button. If you think others will get benefit out of it, then share this video on your social media networks. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you sooner than later. Thank you. Have a great day.